Here's what's really interesting. Well, first of all, let's just go back to the health part of today. Today's June 2nd, 2022. I'm in this particular symbolic pattern within New York area, New York City limits. So Linda's hips are hurting so bad today inside like the acetabulum. It's not sciatica. It's a prolonged problem that she's had going on and now I'm having. I'm not affected by it today. She is. She's at 7 decades, I think, in 3 years. I'm at 4 decades in 3 years. So she asked my son and my father and I to go food shopping for her, which we did. On the way back, in the air is these clouds of pollen again. The air is really hard to breathe today. It's like pulling air is really difficult, like that kind of thing. And it's because like the air is like thick, and you can see the pollutants floating in the air. Like they call them pollen, but it's pollutants, pollen, pollutants, whatever. So we come back, and now I'm watching the evening news at 4 o'clock on Channel 7. And there's two shots. There's a shot of the city, like everybody loves to see, and like a postcard. And then it flips to a second camera, which looks almost X-ray like X-ray technology in the city, which is really frightening. But you can clearly see the pixelated or like the contrast difference of the photography or cinematography, whatever word the humans use. Then it goes to Lee Goldberg, the weatherman, and he shows there's some kind of green whatever, and then it's got red, and I can only imagine that that's the infrared, and it looks like Minecraft, Minecraft, which is a Swedish programmed game for the console, console, that Alexander James and my son Anthony really, really enjoyed playing in their youth. But it shows, I don't know again if it's depth technology in a DEPTH type of a way, but the characteristics are very pronounced. So now this is the postcard view with the the pressure gradients it shows on the map.
Heavy rain, thunderstorms, and even flooding.
Yeah, you're looking at a live picture right now. And in fact, there is a severe thunderstorm.
And then this is more of the for me, I don't know if it's called infrared. I don't know if it's X-ray tech. I have no idea what the professionals call it. But it is a stark contrast in the way that it's even recorded. It no longer has this like soft filter on it, like with these beautiful skylines, almost like a computer generated model of like when everything was so beautiful and just in a thought process before they went ahead and ruined the world and built it.
Warning in effect right now for New York City. Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg's tracking everything and can tell us what we can expect over at the weather wall. Lee.
Yeah, you saw the money shots right there looking north as that storm approaches the GWB and works through the Bronx. We have active thunderstorm warnings right now for the Bronx, Bergen County, Manhattan, and Lower Westchester.
I will also mention his attire today is very professionally different than some of the other outfits that his coordinator in wardrobe chose for him. I don't know if they
Flash
choose their
flood
own.
warning out for parts of northeast New Jersey, including Bergen, Passaic, and parts of Rockland County as well. Severe thunderstorm watch for the southern half of New Jersey will take us until about 9 o'clock tonight. And you see the advisories, the flood advisories and warnings across northeast New Jersey and the lower Hudson Valley into the early evening hours. We had saturated ground since yesterday, and we'll have flooded roadways. Have to stay off the roads here for a little while because these storms are pretty dangerous. We have some heavy downpours near I-84 from Brewster to Danbury, and then you have the heavier downpours right over the Tappan Zee, Mario Cuomo Bridge, and then this storm here. And you see those greens? Those are shear markers. That means some gusty winds near Closter and Westwood headed over to Yonkers and Hastings.
I swear to God, if I didn't know any better, with him and his Clark Kent glasses, he sounds like an auctioneer at some Christie's auction I've never been to or Sotheby's auction. It sounds like one of those antique auctioneers.
Hastings on Hudson and
I saw it on a
Englewood,
TV
too.
program.
And for those of you savvy looking at radar, it looks like there's a little hook echo here, which is a tornadic signature. Just looking and analyzing it, I'm not seeing that on the velocities, but I am seeing at least some very strong winds that will approach New Rochelle in a few minutes, and Glen Cove 424, and obviously into New York City within the next 10 minutes.
That's the one. Looks very Minecraft. And it looks, I don't know what it's looking for, but it is very different than what they've shown in other broadcasts.
10 minutes or so. What I look for is a couplet with these reds and greens here, more straight line winds, but capable of producing winds of 50 to 60 miles an hour as they cross the George Washington Bridge. This goes back to the west.
And now also here in the arrow signatures. The arrow signatures, if that's electromagnetic or static, like trajectory or direction, I don't know what they use it for, but the arrowheads are going in opposite directions. They're gathering in certain bunches. They're losing their magnetic compass and like spinning around. And again, I'm looking for purpose of the health. I mean, somebody reached out and said JEMCO works in that field, but I don't know any. I mean, they gave me two names, but I mean, I don't know what to say to these people. I mean, like, who do you, I don't know. Because it's not just today. It's like the whole, I've been documenting it before I got those two names, so now what do I do?
This is a little different than last night. The action from the city on north is going to be early on this evening, and you can see that on the Futurecast. And then we're going to shift our focus after 6 o'clock to areas south of I-78. So I think we'll be in the clear in New York City after about 6 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock. There will be some flare-ups of showers overnight, but it's not severe, and we wind those down in the morning hours. Again, they're in the dark.
It also has a mention of the 78.
Dark skies to the north, we're at 78. So some storms early in the city, then just clouds and a lingering shower late. Scattered drenching downpours will be early from the city north. The focus will shift to the south as severe storms are possible over central and southern New Jersey. We'll talk about those lingering showers as well. Forecast gets so much better after tomorrow morning. Much more on that as we storm track on the first at 4 over the next 2.5 hours right throughout. This is at 6 as well. I'll see you in just a few minutes with more AccuWeather. Listen, Dave.
All right, Lee, thank you. Well,
It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.